Hey YouTube friends, welcome back here to another episode of the ultimate B&M project here in Parkitect. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Today I'm going to be doing the transfer track. Roll the intro. So like I just said, today I'm going to be doing the transfer track area for this coaster, but before I do that, I just wanted to try and play around with some B&M details. B&M coasters, B&M is a manufacturer from Switzerland. They make great smooth coasters. Not everyone loves them because sometimes they're not quite as forceful as other coasters, but they provide a great smooth ride. They all have this connector on the bottom of their track. It kind of sticks out in this funny shape. Every single B&M has this, and if you're not sure what I mean, I'm just going to show you a picture now of Scream from Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is the old colour scheme, and the connector there is just on the right, if you see what I mean, and it just sticks out of the track and then joins on to the support. So I wanted to see if I could make that in the game using different pieces, but I wasn't quite successful, but I'm going to simplify it and do a different way. And then also here, I wanted to try and create a connector for the support to connect onto that part of the track. And so I'm using two types of floor cover, and the pink one actually sits slightly higher than the grey one there on the screen. So I'm just going to colour the grey one green to match the support, and I can actually sit those together. And then I'm going to put a little bolt on the corners using a flag topper from Shy Guys 4. I'm going to actually do this for every single support on the whole coaster. I sound mad, I know it's mad, it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm going to do it. And also doing a footer. If you want to know how I do the footers, I do have it in a tutorial in my how-to playlist on my channel on how to create a footer. So here I'm using a shape, I'm just going to sync it, colour it, and then I'm going to put a pole in from Shy Guys dining set to be a bolt. I'm going to put 8 of these in on every footer, and I'm actually going to do this as well for the whole coaster, and it's going to be a lot of work, but I think in the end it's going to really pay off, and it's really going to look realistic, which is the challenge that I'm going for. I'm actually going to save this little support here as a blueprint and use it where I can if the coaster happens to sit on that part of the grid. So now on to the transfer track, which is the main focus of this episode. A transfer track is actually the area of a roller coaster where the train can actually move off the main circuit and into another area where there's a maintenance area, a building or like an area. Sometimes they're enclosed, sometimes they're not, and mostly on B&M coasters the transfer area is actually at the end of the ride, but some manufacturers actually do this at the beginning of their ride. But you know, I'm doing a B&M style one, so I'm going to try and copy as best as I can. So I've put it just after the brake run. And this is actually very similar to Scream from Six Flags Magic Mountain. That's also on a very long brake run, and then there's the transfer area just before the station. So I'm going to use that as a reference. I'll show you a picture in a sec. But I'm just putting some track down there from the CTS mod set, and also the beams that I've used are from that set as well. I think they look really great. And I've just made the transfer area as wide as I think it looks good for the length of my train. You want to make sure that your train can fully slide across on the track on these beams that I've put down. And yeah, I'm just, so here's the picture that I was on about. These are from Google Earth. This is a picture of Scream, and as you can see the orange beams there and the cross spits. And then here's a picture of Kraken. You can very faintly see the turquoise beams there, the transfer area. So I'm just going to use those pictures from Google Earth. They're not the best quality, but I can kind of see the style and what kind of or how a B&M transfer area looks like. So I'm just going to create that as best as I can. Obviously Parkitect has limits and you can't do everything perfect, so sometimes I have to find a solution to do things. I couldn't get these beams to completely cross perfectly in the center, so I've had to do it a slightly different way, but it looks okay, and you can definitely see what I was trying to do. And now I'm just popping a pole down along the beam to act as like a rail where the track would actually slide. So I'm going to pop a footer now on each thing. I'm actually going to do a building in a second around the track, and not every B&M coaster actually has like a building. Kraken has a building, but rides, for instance, I'm thinking of Shambhala, which is a hyper coaster. That transfer area is actually completely out in the open. There's no cover on it at all. Maybe it's changed since I've last been there, I don't know, but that coaster, you know, you can completely see the transfer track. So I guess it depends on the park and what they want, so they're all different, but I'm just kind of drawing inspiration from all the pictures from B&M coasters that I've seen or that I've ridden, and just kind of creating one that looks like it would be real. So while I'm doing this, let's talk about roller coasters. Let me know down below in the comment section what your favorite coaster is, whether it's a B&M or not, or what's your favorite B&M coaster. I have my personal B&M favorite coaster is either Shambhala or Nemesis. Those two are really up there with amongst my favorite coasters. My favorite flawless B&M coasters are Kraken and Rougarou. I love them. I've not actually ridden too many flawless coasters because there's not actually that many. There's only 13 in the world. I believe it's 13 anyway. But I've ridden Bizarro and Scream, Rougarou, and Kraken, and they're all great. Really love them. But I have, Kraken and Rougarou are my favorite ones out of the flawless coasters. Shambhala is great, like I said, and Mako at SeaWorld is also a fantastic ride. The flying coasters I do enjoy. They're not particularly my favorite roller coasters, but I really enjoy those. Manta, Tatsu, Galactica, and whatever other ones I've ridden. They're all great coasters. Obviously, everyone has their own personal preference with roller coasters. Some people don't enjoy B&Ms as much as others, but I think they're great rides. I really enjoy them. So yeah, let me know down below in the comment section, and let's have a little discussion about it. That'd be really cool. So when I build transfer buildings or maintenance buildings, I never know what the back looks like. So I found a nice picture on Google Earth of Kraken. I'll just show you it now. So here's the back of it, and I'm going to try and create that as best as I can on the back of this building here. It's not really something you look at, is it, when you go to a theme park? You don't think, oh, I wonder what the stairs look like on the back of the transfer building. So I don't really know 100% how those things look. Normally they're actually hidden from the public view, and they're all kind of hidden behind trees or behind a facade or something. So I found that picture on Google Earth, which has been a great help, and I'm just kind of using that as a reference. I'm going to use some Catwalk pieces from the Catwalk mod and some doors from Shy Guys 1, and just kind of create like a little kind of entranceway from the brake run into the building and down to the ground. So just going to try and make that look as realistic as I can. After all, that is the aim of this project, or this challenge that I'm doing with myself. I do intend to have this being a fully realistic looking ride within the game. That's the whole aim of it. I want there to be no question that this couldn't be real. Obviously I know it's Parkitect and it's not Type Coaster, but I think that's the fun of it. I think trying to make something so realistic within like an isometric style game, it brings me great fun. I love doing it. I used to do it in Tycoon 3 and in Tycoon 2, so obviously I wasn't as good at it back then, and I've got a bit better over the years as I've been playing these type of games, but I want to do this really well and try and do it as best as I can. So like I said, this is a bit of a challenge for me. I'm just challenging myself to see. It also is like a patience challenge as well, because I'm really testing my patience with some bits, especially with doing bolts and things on footers and on the support connectors, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's gonna be good fun. I can't wait to share the finished thing with you all. So I'm just popping a roof on here. I took the idea with this roof from Scream, from Magic Mountain again. I'm using that coaster a lot as reference, but the roof on that transfer track actually hangs over the brake run to give some shade, I guess, maybe. Sometimes B&M coasters, especially B&M coasters, do a thing called stacking, where they'll have a lot of trains on the track, maybe 3, and obviously you can only have one train in the station at a time, so they'll stack the other trains on the brake run, waiting for that train to go out on the track. So I think it's good to have a bit of shade over the top of the brake run, just in case you are there waiting. Kraken at SeaWorld, I think it has a canopy from looking at the picture on Google Earth over the brake run, but I do remember from being there a couple years ago, I was sat on the brake run for a very long time because they were doing that silly VR thing, and it took a really long time to dispatch a train. And so I sat there in the sun for a really long time, and I got really like hot and my head was burning. So it's not a great idea, I guess, to have no shade or cover on the brake run if your train's going to be waiting on there for a long time. So I've just put that little roof there over the top there, just to give some shade on the brake run. Now I'm just going to do the catwalks. I like to leave a gap between the piece that slides and the actual catwalk on the brake run. I think this makes it look like actually there is a section that can move, even though in the game it can't really move. I like to make it look like it can, so I think leaving a gap in the catwalks just makes it look a little bit like it actually could maybe separate. So I'm just doing that along here, and then I'm just going to continue on with the curve there into the station, so that all the catwalks on the brake run and up into the station are finished. Here I'm just trying to find like some sort of black like round piece that I could use to look like a wheel or a roller underneath. I found this little cylinder piece that I thought I could use, but it doesn't look too great, but to be honest it's not really something that you really notice. And here I'm using the control box, which I think is in the Parkitect toolbox mod. So I've just used that on the sides there, and then these coiled up wires, which I think look really cool. I really love using them, so I'm just placing those on like the corners to make it look like there's some sort of electrics going on or something. Now I'm just adding some little lights along the barriers there. Now I looked at some pictures of coasters at night time, and I'm not actually sure if B&M have those style little lights on the catwalk, so I'm going to look it up again, because I know on the lift hill some of them have like these like round ball lamps on the side. So I'm going to look into that and see if it actually is like a realistic looking thing. Now I'm just going to save what I did in the very beginning of this video as a blueprint, and I'm going to just place it along the brake run underneath the track to support it at kind of even spaced places. I think it looks really cool. It's looking realistic, I think, already, and it's a good start to the hard work that's to come. And so I have to use trees here to get rid of the in-game supports. You just sink them into the ground to get rid of it. It's kind of one of the only ways to do it. I've been saying it forever. I wish there was a toggle that way you could turn off the supports for the coaster, then I wouldn't have to do the tree trick. But for now I'm doing the tree trick. I'm just going to do it a bit at a time with the trees, but I've just done it on the brake run area here just so you can see how it looks. Thanks for watching. I've really enjoyed sharing this project with you so far. Can't wait to show you more. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button, leave me a comment down below if you have any questions, or if you just want to say hey, and give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave a couple of screenshots for you now to see what I've done, but I'll see you all next time for another episode of the ultimate B&M project here in Parkitect. Ciao!